Doctor Who, happy birthday to you, Time Lord of the Universe. Thank you, and welcome to PlanetGenX and the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. Way!
And the crowd goes wild.
The crowd goes mild.
Yeah.
All right, I'm Sean. That over there is Brian, and we're so happy you've joined us again because obviously I'm excited. This is Doctor Who's 60th anniversary. I've been watching this since I was a little tiny seaman. A very long time. Brian, how about you?
Not since the reboot. The first reboot.
The first reboot. Yeah, so you're a NuWho guy. You don't really know from the classic series too much. Just a little bit, I would say, right?
Yeah, I've watched some, and I'm familiar with a lot of the tropes from the old Doctor Who. But yeah, as far as episodes, not so much. But they did kind of bring up to speed on a lot of stuff with the NuWho, and there's always wikis and whatnot.
Yeah.
For filling in blanks.
Yeah, I always thought of myself as pretty much an idiot savant when it came to Doctor Who. Now, as I've gotten older, I have, I don't know, I just feel like I'm not as sharp, but maybe I am, and I just don't get to, throw the knowledge out there like I used to.
Use it or lose it, man.
Yeah, but I still got quite a bit in there, so we'll see how it goes, because all this will be off the top of my head anyway.
Right.
But but before we get into that, let's take a second to hit that subscribe button and hit the like button, right?
Yep.
Why don't you leave us a comment too while you're at it, because we love comments. We love when you tell us how great we are, especially. But we'll take any comment. Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Yep.
Why not?
Why not?
If hate's all that's out there, why not, right?
That's right. That's right. So, all righty. Doctor Who, man, goes back to November 23rd, 1963, the day after Kennedy was assassinated. It had the worst possible time slot that any TV show could have, even in Britain. Right. So, with luck and thanks to the producer at the time, Verity Lambert, who begged for a repeat, they got a repeat the following week, and thank God they did, because had they not, we probably wouldn't have Doctor Who today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that year started out with Doctor Number 1, William Hartnell. Yeah, he was a crotchety old, irascible doctor who had a granddaughter named Susan, who we started off with, and Ian and Barbara, who were two school teachers that just pushed their way into the TARDIS, trying to check up on Susan.
Still a lot of the, social norms of the time in the series back then, too.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, it's cool. The kids today won't watch black and white, I don't think, so I don't know if they'd go for it. But, yeah, it's in black and white. Apparently, I think they've colorized the Daleks, which is the second story. Back then they did their episodes, so like a story might be like 3 to 4. Back then they even did long 10 episode arcs and stuff for a story, but
the episodes were right.
Yeah, but they were like 25-minute episodes over there, and here we got in the early days we got the omnibus edition, so they just put them all together, and the public television stations would just show them as one big like hour and a half movie, 2 hours depending on the length of certain ones, but yeah,
I wonder. I sometimes wonder if that was part of the success of Doctor Who over here.
I don't know. It was really weird for me when I found out the way they did it.
Yeah.
I was totally like, well, really? Okay, that's wild.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it wasn't really that common, right? To have like something that long, cohesive, like one complete story.
I don't think it would work.
And it could captivate these young children for like complete hours, right?
Yeah, and we had nothing else back then to watch, really. There wasn't much, but I agree that putting it all together definitely helped. For a long time, that's how I preferred it. I used to like edit my own and put them together where they were omnibus editions when they were better versions would come out.
Yeah.
But eventually I just grew to accept it, and it's fine to watch them that way. No big deal. But anyway, back to the 60s. Yeah. The second Doctor comes around in 1966. It's the first time we get a rejuvenation. I don't think regeneration was even really thought of yet. The Doctor transforms into Patrick Troughton. And Patrick Troughton was more like a clown, kind of a hobo clown.
Really kind of an element that stuck with the Doctor up until Baker, right?
Yeah.
And there were some elements of that in him, too.
Oh, yeah. There's many, yeah. And, he was the first to be real whimsical, like a pixie. He's very pixie-like. One of my favorites. He's probably one of my top favorite Doctors. And unfortunately, a lot of episodes of Doctor Who in its early days have been lost. There's a long, drawn-out story about how and why that happened that you can see, I'm sure, all over the internet. There's no.
How about giving us a condensed version of it, right?
Basically they didn't think they were going to have to show this stuff again. They made them for one airing and one repeat, and then tapes were very expensive back then, so they reused a lot of tapes. So they were set to be wiped, and many were. Over the years, there were a lot more that were missing, but over the years, many have come up.
Right.
So we've gotten quite a few back.
The Doctor Who fan base is a huge part of that, right?
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, some collectors have held on to some for the fact of just making them collectible, which is BS, but whatever. At least we get them eventually, hopefully. I still think there's collectors who are sitting on stuff. And there was one that was coming back to us when we got some of the last stuff we got. It was like the Web of Fear, and it was a Troughton episode too. It was great. Both of them were Troughton episodes, which was great that they were brought back because it was some of the best. The Enemy of
The Enemy of Shit?
No, it's the Enemy Within, I think, or something like that. It's a really good story, very action-packed, very James Bond-esque, and this is even before Pertwee came in, so which leads us into Pertwee, the third Doctor, John Pertwee, who came in around the 70s and also came in with color. So we're seeing the Doctor in color for the first time, and
what that must have been like, right? Because I mean, sci-fi obviously, found its roots in black and white. It wasn't just Doctor Who. There were tons of sci-fi stuff back then. It was a very popular genre. But to be able to add color to that was just like, not only did it do more to capture the imagination, in my opinion, but so far as work-wise, new ideas on set designs, costumes, makeup, all this stuff. I think it really kind of blew up the industry overall, but especially sci-fi.
Yeah, it changed a lot. And it's funny, as much as I love the black and whites now, I remember as a kid, I remember watching it because our local public television station the initial run they got was for John Pertwee, and then it went up through the Doctor at the time who was out, and that was Colin Baker. And it went to the end of Colin Baker's, and it restarted again at John Pertwee, whose original few stories were in black and white, except the first one. It was in color, but the subsequent few were in black and white because that's all they had copies of. And I remember being caught off guard. And also, back then, you couldn't really tell, like, Colin Baker to Pertwee. It wasn't quite as obvious to a kid back then, like the time difference. Like, there's a good, 15 years difference between the two. And but all the television looked the same.
When you're a kid, they're all old, right?
Well, it's not only that, it's just like all the quality of everything looked about the same. The fashions were close to the same and stuff like that. And like you could tell the difference nowadays, especially with our screens and the way things look. It's, you can tell, kind of what era stuff was made in, and the graphics on the screens and stuff like that, what era they were from. But,
was it all pastel?
Yeah, it really threw me, and I didn't watch. I kept checking. I remember checking week to week, and when it finally came back to color, that's when I was back into it, man. So it's funny that, I kind of made that joke about the kids won't watch it because it's in black and white, but I get it. I can get it. But yeah, I just something I acquired because I loved it so much. And I realized that's just the way it was, so I got used to it. It was my fandom, man. I loved it. So yeah, John Pertwee, he was like the 007, man. I mean, like his stories were action-packed, James Bond-esque type stuff. He had an old antique jalopy named Bessie that he'd run around in, and she was like super fast car.
But also that pixie element that you brought up too.
Yeah, well, he was just a man of
many colors.
He's just color. He's very colorful. Just a man you can respect. I mean, just a man's man. He was pretty cool. He's probably one of my favorite doctors. I've actually met him. He's one of the few I have met. And it was just a really, really good guy. You go into after him, you get into Tom Baker, who this is like everybody's doctor. Whenever you hear somebody say, "Oh, have you seen Doctor Who?" And you go, "Oh yeah, isn't that the guy with the long scarf?" And it's like, well, yeah, that's one of them, but that's who everybody kind of remembers as the Doctor is Tom Baker, and he did have the longest run. He had like 8-year run, which is a bloody long time. But yeah, you could start to see the difference in how he looked at the beginning towards the end. So they finally had to say it's time to move on. But yeah, probably one of the greatest doctors out there. Of the classic series, he would probably win favorite doctor every time, I would say. And that's just classic series because David Tennant would win NuWho hands down. Everybody would vote for David Tennant. And it really nowadays, he would probably pull it out overall too, over classic and Who together. Yeah, NuWho together. Anyway, after Tom Baker, we had Peter Davison, the fifth Doctor, who I just took to right away because he was young. He was more closer to my age. I was a young kid, and he had a haircut like the kids back then, kind of a bowl cut, skater cut, I called it. I don't know, the 80s stuff, when John Nathan Turner, the producer in the 80s through the rest of the classic series, his style and the writers he got and the set designers he got, I just loved the style from that era. Yeah. It really, really speaks to me. Of course, that's one of my favorite eras. I mean, we grew up as kids in the 80s, so obviously it appeals to me.
Yeah, I mean, like, this was post Star Wars, so
yeah,
everything kind of blossomed after that, right?
Oh man, dude! I mean, like anything you could see with space stuff in it, like Star Wars, Star Trek, anything like that, aliens. It didn't matter, man. Sci-fi was it. Sci-fi and fantasy, man. Conan stuff. But yeah, after Peter Davison, we had Colin Baker, who had the coat of many colors. Everybody can kind of remember him, but he had the shortest run. Yeah. He didn't have a very long run at all. And I often say he's probably my favorite Doctor. I really love him more than anybody else, the most. And it's a shame we only got a few stories from him, but they've actually, with their BBC audios, have gone on to give him and Paul McGann's Eighth Doctor way more life than they ever had, a chance to be, because, Paul McGann had that one story and that was it. So that's really breathed life. And dude, they are so good, those BBC audios, man. The Big Finish audios. They are just chef's kiss, so good. It's like listening to a classic story. That's what's so great about them. I mean, it's just, you can see it in your head, but the sound design is just so good, man. You just feel like you're on an alien planet. And, if you're in a room that's supposed to be like a cave or something, it sounds like you're in a cave. I mean, it's very good with the ambiance and just putting you in there. And, I really found a good love for Colin and Paul McGann. Paul McGann's really shined for me because I never really cared for his Doctor much of that one story he had. And I don't want to skip ahead to him yet because we got to go through Sylvester McCoy first, who was our seventh Doctor. Right. Yes, there was a lot of doctors to go through. Sylvester McCoy, Scottish actor who you want to talk about whimsical, man. I mean, like he's like Trouton on coke. I mean, he's just so he's just a jester to me. He's just a clown, a jester. He does little magic and stuff like that. Again, a favorite Doctor, man. It's a tough one for me with doctors because there are so many of them I love. From
it's all one
series.
person though, right? It's all one character, just a different expression.
Yeah, just the actors who played them, man. I mean, like some of them just really, I just love some of their stories more than others. But yeah, he is very worthy of a look in, especially if you're trying to go classic series and are scared to get too far into the near the 70s and the 60s and stuff like that. Check out some Sylvester stuff and Colin Baker stuff.
I would say during Sylvester's phase, that was probably, you'll have to correct me on this, but I think it was probably more, I like the open wilderness scenes that you would commonly get there, or the big scenes where you could see a lot of something that wasn't just like a backdrop.
Well, yeah, they tended, and it was really because of the state of the series and the money they had and the fact they were already canceled once and they were, threatened to be canceled again, which they ultimately were. Yeah, they did a lot of location shooting, especially in his later two seasons.
And I love that. That's one of the favorites for me.
Yeah, it stands out, especially since they've been remastered. They look really, really good, especially like the Curse of Fenric. If you get the Curse of Fenric DVD, there's a movie version on there where they redid it the way they wanted to do it, and it's very, very good, and it makes way more sense too, way more sense. Yeah, some of them you have to watch, but like Ghostlight, dude, it only took me about 20 times before I finally understood that. And Ghostlight, I can honestly tell you, is my favorite Doctor Who story by far. It is a damn good story, and it took a long time to understand, many years. And that's reading the book too. The book gives you no fucking clues. Doesn't help at all.
No.
So yeah, we got through Sylvester. Now we're back. Paul McGann, I mentioned, he just had the TV movie when Fox. We thought Doctor Who was going to possibly get a resurgence where Fox was going to make new stuff, and this was the test. And they brought in Sylvester at least to do a regeneration, which was nice. That was very cool. I did love the TARDIS design of this. I just hate the Americanization of it. I don't want America in my Doctor Who.
Well, I mean, that was the idea, though, right?
Yeah.
They were trying to appeal to an American
And the weird thing
audience,
is, it's in Canada.
That was the mistake.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Canadian Doctor Who,
right?
More than American, but and then
but they wanted, they had a very American sensibility about the cinematography and like everything.
Definitely,
the story, all
America's touch for sure. And then it had Eric Roberts as the Master, which was just gagged me with a pitchfork, man. I mean, dude, I give him shit to this day for it because I think he's tried to like glom on to the fandom now, but back in the day, man, he talked so much shit about it, and I'll never forget. And he ain't nobody. He's not his sister, and he needs to be
I mean, you can hold a flame to me right now, and I couldn't give you a single thing, but I know there are at least one or two things I've seen him in that I was like, yeah, I'm not mad at that. But he's got a pretty big filmography.
Yeah, and I say the same. There's a couple things I like him in too, but I'll never forgive him for dissing Who, man. And then to see him nowadays, like I've seen some stuff where he's like doing some fandom stuff, and he acts like he had a great time with it. Bullshit, dude. You're fake.
Yep.
But anyway, it's neither here nor there. Like I said, Big Finish. If you want to really fill out the Paul McGann stuff, check out the Big Finish stuff. It's so good. And that's where we leave Who in the classical era, man. And then we go for years,
supposedly forever.
And this is where Big Finish filled the gaps. This is where they came through. Now they're still going strong today, but they really filled the gaps. The books first, the BBC books came out. Actually, it was Virgin back then. They had put out some books, new series and stuff like that. In fact, a couple of them were made into NuWho episodes. But yeah, then we got the Big Finish stuff, and it was really good. And then finally, we get the news in early 2003-ish, I think, that Russell T Davies is going. Now, this is not the first time we've heard about Russell, by the way. In the late 90s, his name was already coming up before, mid to late 90s, about trying to bring the show back. So he ended up getting it done finally, but it took till 2005 with the episode Rose, Gray Star Screens. Not a great episode. We got a classic baddie. The Autons are in it. But yeah, not a great episode. And we get Chris Eccleston as our ninth Doctor. And I got to say, despite all past stuff and the fact that he's embracing it now, doesn't matter. I still think he did a great job with it.
I completely agree. I have heard many a Whovian, disparage his name.
Oh yeah.
But I thought he did a fine job. You can't. You were talking about Tennant earlier. He's kind of on the pinnacle. You can't really compare, right? But as far as somebody to reboot, I felt like he had good energy for it.
Yeah,
I felt like his work ethic was proper. Everything. I have no complaints.
Yeah, and that's a heavy load to carry on your shoulders, man.
Yeah.
And who knows what the actual politics and all that were and how it was supposed to shake out back then, but it doesn't matter because the next season we got David Tennant, and man, what can you say about David Tennant? That they've only brought him back twice for two different anniversaries. So if that doesn't tell you something about how much this guy is loved, not only that, his wife, who plays the Doctor's daughter in the episode, the Doctor's daughter. In that episode, my God, she is the most beautiful woman I ever laid eyes on. And he ended up marrying her, and she's the daughter of Peter Davison, the fifth Doctor. So how fucking weird is that, man?
The daughter of the Doctor marries the Doctor.
Marries the Doctor's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, man. I mean, it's really kind of a storybook type thing, but it's really cool because they've done some, little one-offs together, and it's great.
Didn't they throw her into some of the animated episodes?
I'm not sure. I've always said there's an untapped well there, and I'm sure she's more than game to do it.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know why they haven't done anything further there. It's interesting since we mentioned Eccleston and the kind of how the problems from the past, and he's embracing it now. It's not uncommon to Doctor Who actors, so let's not get on Eccleston too bad, because Tom Baker's notorious for that. He distanced himself from Doctor Who for years before he finally came back in the early 90s with his pinstripe suit on that everybody saw for years. It's like one suit the guy had. And he embraced the hell out of it, but it took years. Peter Davison was notoriously sour in many, many interviews. You could always hear the sarcasm and the sourness and the way he felt about certain things back then. But nowadays, it's all behind him, man.
I think this kind of informed actors before the aughts, I guess. I think right around that time, maybe up until mid-aughts or whatever, there's always been a fear of being typecast, right? If you carry this role for so long, that's all people are going to see you as. But I did kind of feel like back then, during that era, people were a lot more appreciative of any fan base.
Yeah.
And I think it just really had a lot to do with economy and whatnot. But, it's a real fear, right? I mean,
Brits fear it, I think, a little more than most.
I agree. Well, I mean,
because look at the way their television set up, dude. Most of them will not do more than 3 years.
Right.
Anything. That's been a standard that goes back to the beginning of time over there with the television. 3 years and out.
I mean, also, Britain television. I don't know. When you and I were kids, and American television was a thing, you would have the occasional PI or something like that was like the main character, but there were a lot more teams out there, right?
Oh, yeah,
Power
man.
Rangers, A-Team, all that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of spread out a little bit more. You were able to see B.A. Baracus go on to, wrestle and whatnot. And
Right.
box.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're carrying a title for a decade, or even less, it's kind of hard for people to see you as anything else.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, yeah,
So,
just look at David Tennant. I mean, he's been very fortunate. He's had all kinds of different roles, but he's able to come back to it and step in and out and have no issues. It seems.
yeah.
Looks to me that way because I don't.
Well,
I
I
don't
mean, he
watch
was
his
also
stuff and see the Doctor. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, I get it. But I mean, that's one of the things I was going to say is he always had a toe dipped in, right? Like even after he was done, he fully embraced the Whovians.
Oh
He
yeah.
was
He's
he,
a
he
he's a
was
fan, bro.
yeah.
He's a
He was
true
part of the
fan.
fan base.
Yeah.
So also the animated series and other stuff that he did, kind of kept a toe in the water after he was the Doctor. So
No doubt. No doubt. And nobody ever, it seems, never forgot him at all.
right.
So we'll put a pause button on Mr. Tennant for a moment, and we'll go on to the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, who
Also another very popular
a
Doctor.
very popular Doctor, a very young Doctor, the youngest Doctor, youngest actor to ever play the Doctor. Yeah, he did. He seemed to. It seems to me, in recollection, this is when people in the States see. It still hadn't quite caught on in the States yet, as much as like your hardcore fans, yeah, they were already on it. But as far as I'm going in Walmart and seeing DVDs for Doctor Who, that's when it started, and it went when his time came out. He
Right.
really brought in, I guess, like a certain generation that really grew up with his Doctor. I do hear that a lot.
Well, I mean, well, I'm trying to think back, like thinking about like Rose and other characters and stuff like that. Pond was a much bigger part of, in my opinion, of that
Yeah,
Doctor's
man, that's what I'm
story
saying.
than
Like it was
everybody
all
else.
about the ponds, and it was a big deal, man. Like it was a religious experience for many with the ponds,
Yeah.
almost to the point of annoyance. Um, I didn't care for him at first. He did grow on me, but this is also now we flipped into Stephen Moffat producing, who he wrote some great stories under Russell T Davies, just some one-off stories.
Yeah.
But him as a producer, and now, I mean, shit, after Chibnall, he's good as gold. But yeah, I didn't care for the way there were some good stories in there, but it got ridiculous trying to keep up with what was going on, the way stuff was going. The way y'all have to like when we watched this live at the time, it's very hard to keep up with because the way they were putting stuff out, a year between this season and that season, 2 years between the next season,
Yeah.
you can't remember what the fuck's going on. And they started to lose me big time. So I am not nearly the savant I should be with Doctor Who in this kind of era.
Well, I will say, and I'm sure he said this before, he obviously had some influences from the X-Files, right?
Yeah.
There were a lot of elements of his run that were, kind of tangential to X-Files, just in the
Yeah.
way it shot, the
I can see that.
characters, stuff like that. I think it was probably, I don't know. Maybe he can go back and say, okay, maybe that was not the right way to do that. Maybe I'm not paying homage in the right way. But I'm a huge fan of the X-Files. As a matter of fact, I just started rewatching the old stuff again, just because it's comfort, nostalgia, whatever.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
good American television, the X-Files.
It is. And a little off subject here, X-Files I found weird. If you watch the pilot, it's a totally different show. Like a lot of the shooting scenes and stuff like that are the same, but the actors, they're all rigid, all placid.
yeah.
The dialogue is horrible in the
Yeah,
first episode.
Yep.
Second episode, that shit's gone for
Yep.
the rest of the series.
That's what they're saying. Shake out. They find their characters between the pilot and the when they actually shoot.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so after Smith, we get a very much older Doctor again. Peter Capaldi comes in, and he is our 13th Doctor. No, wait, 12th Doctor. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm losing count now. And this, I mean, things start to get weird. Now, see, this is where they start really trying to give some background to stuff and start messing with rules, because we're at the end of the regenerations. The Time Lord only gets 12 regenerations, so
Yeah.
you know they had to bend the rules and make up some reason to go on, and they do. And now we have a Doctor with a whole new set of regenerations, apparently, but we still name them off as if they're, you know, a continuation. So,
I don't know this Capaldi. I would be hard pressed to say he's my favorite Doctor, but I really love that series. You know,
he has some good stuff.
there was some really good stuff. I love the whole idea of like it being a big deal about him being an old man, so that there's no romantic interest, right?
Yeah.
They expanded on that a lot. Also, he almost kind of took a step back from his companions, and there was a certain gravitas there because we all knew this was the final Doctor, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly. But also Missy, right?
Yeah, Missy.
People have mixed feelings on that. I thought it was great. I love the actress that played Missy. I think she did great
Michelle
in Doom
Gomez
Patrol
is
as well.
absolutely another chef's
Yeah.
kiss for a night. She is fantastic and built like a brick shit house, man.
Right.
She really is.
Well, yeah. But yeah, I mean, people may have problems with that story or whatnot, but I just thought it was great.
Yeah, I knew where they were going with that too. I knew that was a testing for when we get to the female Doctor, which it ended up being. I totally called that.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I gotta say, I just it was okay for the Master, but I didn't want it for my Doctor. And then, of course, that's what happened, and we got the 13th Doctor, Miss Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah.
Who to me was like a female Tennant.
I was going to say, do you think it would be different if she wasn't reflective of a previous Doctor, if she were her own character?
I don't know. I didn't hate a lot. I mean, like, there were stories that I liked of hers. I could look past her being a female. You got to understand.
Yeah, but you know, also Chibnall came out beforehand and was like, hey, this is our agenda, right?
Yeah. I mean, dude, yeah, that guy is fuck. Hey, listen, since I have this forum, fuck Chris Chibnall. All right. Thank you for ruining fucking Doctor Who. I'll say that. Stephen Moffat, you almost got this, but you are nearly as bad as that motherfucker was with his fucking socio-political agenda. Oh, just dripping with socio-political agenda. That guy.
Unabashedly.
Ugh, man.
And you know, there's this common element that people, I don't know. I kind of feel like the people that get dubbed the internet edgelords and stuff like that, and the people who have like legitimate concerns about this kind of stuff, they're really in the same boat, but they really are at each other's throat at the same time.
Yeah.
But you know, the idea is, yeah, sure, let's see some representation. Yeah, you know, what we really want to see is something like, yeah, this Doctor's gay, but it's not a big deal, right? It's like an offhand comment that gets thrown around, or, you know, it's not central to the character, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what both sides want in that, right? They just want it to be like,
it needs to be nonchalant.
Who cares? Right, yeah.
It's very fucking nonchalant, but everything with that guy was just like fucking 10-ton hammer right over your head. Yeah. And I don't need it. And I can cherry pick a bunch of her episodes and be very happy with those. But and I think she did an okay job. Again, I just felt like she was very Tennant-like, but it's so hard to, where do you go? I mean, you're now the 14th fucking I'm sorry, 13th. I'm so confused. 13th Doctor. So it's hard not to be compared to somebody at this point who came before you.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. With her being the 13th iteration, it should have been a completely new character, right? Like, not reflective of anybody. It should have been something totally new, and it wasn't.
So I love the irony that now all of a sudden she transforms, regenerates into David Tennant again.
Right.
The 14th Doctor, and that's how he's labeled.
Yeah.
The 14th Doctor is here to save the day because, by God, Doctor Who needs saving. And who can save Doctor Who? David fucking Tennant can save Doctor Who. Can I get an amen?
Yeah. No, amen. I will say, I guess maybe you kind of alluded to this earlier. Maybe he's the 14th because he's not as old looking as you or me, maybe, but he's definitely aged.
Oh, he's clearly no baby face like he was back in the day. That's
right
for sure.
Yeah.
So it's easy for them to do a little, play with it a little bit, as far as how he doesn't look exactly the same. But I tell you this, man, he still looks damn good. His hair still fluffs up just right, man.
Yeah.
Still does what it needs to do. The girls loved the hair back in the day, man.
They did.
Absolutely loved the hair. So, and
but he was also the Unabomber Doctor, in my opinion, because I've seen him in a trench coat in more than one episode.
Oh yeah, yeah. And he pulls off the trench coat very well too. It's that really slender, lanky build he's got. You know, it's worked for him for sure. And so he'll save the day and get us loving Doctor Who again, as only he and Russell T Davies could. And then we'll get Ncuti Gatwa, as we know, will be our next Doctor, the 15th Doctor. We'll be starting at season 1. It'll still be a continuation, but we'll start at season 1 on Disney Plus. I don't know yet when those are going to air, but yeah, we look forward to that. It's weird because his first season hasn't even aired, and he's already shooting his second series, which is he's also the first actor to do that.
Yeah.
In Doctor Who, so that's cool. At least the NuWho that I know of. So we do have, since we're finally through some brief. Wait a minute, before I get into that, we do want to mention some of the baddies over the years that the Doctor has seen.
Yeah.
So we did mention Missy, which Missy was basically the Master, as female, and the Master is his longtime foe, former friend turned foe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they went to the academy together, and it was just one of those things where they couldn't kill each other because it was like a love of the game, it seems.
Well, that and they were the last two, right?
Yeah, they were, especially in NuWho. Now, back in the classic days, that it didn't really account for anything because they weren't the only two around.
He was just the ultimate nemesis.
He was just the ultimate baddie in the universe. But yeah, so some great actors who've played the Master. Roger Delgado played the first and the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, phenomenal.
You've had Peter Pratt, who played one time, and Jeffrey Beavers, who played him one time. But the main one that most people would know from the 80s was Anthony Ainley, and he did a fantastic job. He was a great Master, just the 80s Master, I'll call him. He was fantastic. But when you get into the NuWho Master, you got, what was that guy's name that played him? Well, you had Derek Jacobi played him right at the end, right before he regenerated, briefly. But John Sim.
There,
yeah.
I couldn't think of his name.
I've still got it, baby. He did great. I really enjoyed his version of the Master, so it was nice that when they brought it back with him.
Yeah, well, he was also able to kind of match the energy in kind of a way that I didn't see.
Yeah, it was really good the way his approach to it, for sure.
Yeah.
Very maniacal. I thought it was very good. He was like a tune, from Roger Rabbit. He reminded me of the maniacal tunes.
Yeah.
Then you had, of course, the Daleks, who are the oldest baddie that we know of. Like I said, they pretty much made Doctor Who because the first 4 episodes were an unearthly child, and that's like I said, that got repeated. The first episode got repeated the week later. And it was so numbers, but then when the first episode of the Daleks came out 5 weeks later, something like that, that was it. It was on, baby. It was night and day. Doctor Who was a hit. That's a deal.
The main thing that always sticks out to me about Daleks is the one episode where they were able to levitate, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you
It
always
was like,
thought they
we're
were
going to stop you
screwed.
by running upstairs.
Yeah,
Because so many people would say that, right?
right. And they finally said, "Ha ha, fuck you, we got
Right.
you. You know, we're going up these stairs, by God."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they got past that too. It really, they're way more menacing now than they were back in the day. But kids, I mean, you got to understand the times and what it was. They were scary back then to kids, for sure. And they're one of the, I don't know, they're a really cool villain. I like the Daleks a lot, but my favorite, my absolute
I want to go back to Daleks.
Okay.
One thing
All
before
right.
we go forward. I love the short that we got of the Daleks and Davros.
Well, I was getting to that.
Oh, I just wanted to throw it up now because we're talking about Daleks, and the idea of the plunger was hilarious. We'll talk about it more.
Yeah, that they
later.
had such a great hand. Yeah, that they had a great design, and then it got swapped out for a plunger.
Right.
Well, since you brought it up, yeah, we'll talk about Davros because he is the ultimate baddie, the creator of the Daleks, and constantly coming back from the dead, it seems, to exact his revenge, try and take over the world, whatever he's trying to do, get even
wandering
with the
through the time stream.
Yeah. But he's always been in a half Dalek casing with one arm and whatnot. And we get this Children in Need special a week ago where the Doctor, they had David Tennant in it, and they had the actor who played Davros. But now Davros is an upright man. Now, you have to understand, at this time, he wasn't like that, but he did look like that. Davros was a normal-looking dude at one point. It was further back than the point we saw him in, so it wasn't quite correct. But I can accept Davros looking like that. It just needs to be
we got to see their first interaction with Tennant, right? I think.
Well, so the story is Genesis of the Daleks. It was a Tom Baker story, and that's when the Doctor first meets Davros. And this is when the Daleks were first created in that story. So the Children in Need special is we're back at that time, and Davros is showing off the Dalek, the new Dalek to one of his assistants and whatnot. Well, all of a sudden, David Tennant pops in, and he ain't supposed to be there. That's the big joke. I wasn't here because they fucked the arm up, and they ends up with the plunger, and that explains the plunger. But the thing that everybody came away with was Davros wasn't in his wheelchair thing. It's a half a Dalek shell. And to me, first of all, you're taking away from the fact that he was representative of their natural evolution. That's why he made the Dalek machine, because they were mutating. And this was the Mach 3, whatever they call it.
Armor Core, whatever.
It was for them to live in, ultimately. That's where he saw the species going. And so you see a guy who's in this half casing, so you already get to where the idea is going. Well, apparently Russell T. Davies is like saying it's ableist, and so they have Davros walking around looking normal. Like, they didn't even make him all grungy looking or nothing.
Yeah.
Just made him look like a mad scientist, basically. I do not agree with this at all, and I think this is just this is not something I want from Russell T. Davies. This is a Chris Chibnall move. This is not what I want to see right off the bat before we even get an episode on screen.
Right.
Your takeaway.
Take what you can get, man.
Do you have a takeaway on it?
I don't really. I'm just. I would like to say I'm excited to see Tennant come back. I would like to say I'm excited to see Davies as opposed to Chib, but
I think he can bring it back. Even with this bullshit, I think Davies really has what it takes to get it back on track.
Almost like Buffy. I had a thing with our friend Jay concerning Doctor Who, and that was what made it special to me more than anything else.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would probably like to catch an episode here and there, but even you telling me that there are episodes with Whitaker that you liked, I'm not going to necessarily go and hunt them down.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was just, I wouldn't go and rewatch them, I don't think. I just remember, there were ones like the one where it's kind of like a space Amazon. That was really fun. That was a great one. And there were a few. Her later seasons for sure. The last season was way better than the first season. Was pure shite. I think it had like 2 stories in it that were worth a shit.
Yeah.
The second one was a so-so, and the third one wasn't bad. But again, 3 and out. Like I said, three seasons. So we have the anniversary. It's already passed. We're recording on Friday. It's the 24th. The actual anniversary of Doctor Who was yesterday. Right. And I didn't, other than posting on Twitter, I didn't do any special videos. That's what this video is for. So the anniversary episode airs tomorrow, the 25th of November, 2023. That episode will be called The Star Beast.
There's something to that name, right?
I don't know. I've seen the little critter that it's kind of a green thing with red eyes.
No, I think it's like referential. I can't remember. I thought I'd come across something about that, but I can't remember, so it's not important.
Yeah, I have no idea. And these are going to come out each sequential Saturday. So a week from tomorrow will be December 2nd, and that's Wild Blue Yonder.
Yeah.
And then a week after that, December 9th, The Giggle. And now this I have a couple observations on. First of all, Neil Patrick Harris playing a character who I suspect is the Celestial Toy Maker. Okay. That's my guess. That's an old character from William Hartnell's days. It's a story that does not exist except for an episode. And they may have animated. I have no idea. I kind of lost touch with the DVD or Blu-ray releases and whether they've animated stuff or not. Yeah, I just find I love Neil Patrick Harris, but wow, American and Doctor Who. I don't know. Weird. Maybe he's Canadian. I don't know. Maybe that's why they allowed it. Is he Canadian? Maybe. I bet he is Canadian, actually.
I think he is.
Yeah,
I'm not
probably so.
I think so.
And that's okay. If you're Canadian, you're half, you got some kind of British ties loosely through the crown, whatever. So, and you still use dollars, don't you? But the Queen's still in your money.
I was going to say, yeah.
Or are they putting the king on now, I wonder? Are they going to change it and put the king on now?
Probably not.
These are questions I have that need answering in the comments below. Please let us know.
Their economy is probably going to fail before they change their money.
Yeah, Jesus, so much to do. Let's see. So we went over that's pretty much that. Man, that is the quick and dirty. Like,
well, I mean, we skipped over a whole slew of the baddies, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I did. I wanted to mention the Sontarans. Yeah, the Sontarans are another old favorite. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I'm backing up. Oh, well, I'll finish the Sontarans since I mentioned them already. Yeah, but they're the giant potato head looking guys that are very short and they're all clones. That's
not
their
potato head, just potato looking.
Yeah, they look like potatoes. And they have a little hole in the back, vent hole in the back of their neck, and that's their big weakness. And you got to hit them from behind. Yeah. Great baddies. They're some of my favorite episodes. Pertwee episode where you first see the Sontaran for the first time is one of my all-time favorites, and one of my Tom Baker favorites was when he's back on Gallifrey and the Sontarans invade. Really great episode. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean in the NuWho too. I think they utilized them pretty good. They really took the clone thing and made it a lot more believable. You couldn't, like in the old series, they all look different, so you couldn't buy into the clone thing. So yeah, Sontaran's really good. But I was going to say earlier, that's right, we went back to Daleks, but I was going to say the Cybermen are my all-time favorite baddie. I have always loved the Cybermen. They go back to the late Dr. Hartnell. That was his last episode, 10th Planet, where he regenerated.
I've got mixed feelings on them. Like looking back at the older designs and how they've changed over the years. Yeah,
it can be rough.
It's hard to really care about that design for me. Yeah, per se. But with I don't know if it was part of the old series. But with the newer Who stuff when they were reintroduced. I did really love the horror that they alluded to of, when people were being made into Cybermen, right?
Yeah. It's just
that was effective. To me.
Very effective. I love the new Cybermen. I thought they were very effective. Although I really loved the camp Cybermen of the '80s, man. David Banks playing the cyber leader was just phenomenal, man. Where is the bow? We will destroy you. I just love that, man. I mean, the guy was fantastic. And yeah, the Cybermen of the 80s are the ones that really brought it home for me. Tom Baker only had one run-in with them, and it was so-so. They were a little campy. That's when they first started being kind of campy, was with his story.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Pertwee never even saw him at all. No Cyberman, not one.
You gotta have a little camp here and there.
Yeah. Yeah, camp's fun. Camp is fun! But, yeah, so that covers... I mean, there's way more baddies, like Zygons, Rutons, which are the natural sworn enemy of the Sontarans. Gosh. Recurring baddies. Well, we've had the Sea Devils come back, and Peter Davison, so they had two stories. You know, the Peter Davison story and the Pertwee story.
Supposedly the Angels coming back?
I'm not sure.
They're not classical or anything like that, but, you know, everybody loves that one
that's the Pawns
band, whatever you call it, from Don't Blink.
Yeah.
And there's always been talk about whether or not they'll bring him back. They did bring him back, right, in one where they were doing like a time thing, and they had gotten through. Yeah,
I do remember them. Yeah, they were like all over the place, and recently in one episode or something. Yeah, they did bring him back, I think.
Yeah, so I think they may be like a kind of an offshoot that they'll just occasionally dip into, maybe.
Yeah. They're definitely NuWho classic baddie. Yeah, for sure. Because it's a reoccurring character, too, for something that's been created for just NuWho. Definitely. Yeah. There's nothing really like that, is there? That's the only thing that's come back. The shadow things, Shadow Proclamation or whatever. I don't consider that, because that was just like an arc.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
So that's the main baddie for the NuWho. I'm just reusing a lot of old stuff. Another favorite of mine was the Ice Warriors. What a great, another great, which we did see. That was one of Capaldi's that I loved because it had David Warner in it. What a great episode. They're in a submarine, which I love submarines. I mean, dude, I couldn't ask for a better episode, that one. Submarines, Ice Warriors, David Warner. Peter Capaldi wasn't a bad doctor. He had a great TARDIS. I loved his fucking TARDIS. I'm big on the interiors of TARDISes and the way they change. And I didn't care for Tennant's too much, man. I got to be honest. That organic thing, I wasn't feeling it too much. But Capaldi's fantastic. Even though it was a little organic, Matt's wasn't too bad.
Well, the thing I liked about Matt's was, if I recall correctly, no, they may have done it with Tennant. I feel like Matt's was the one that they kind of expanded on the infinite interior of it, right?
Yeah, well, that's one thing I love. Anything that takes place in the TARDIS, which there was a Capaldi episode which was all in the TARDIS, going just into the depths of it. I love those episodes where they take place and really show how big it is, because it's infinitely massive. And he's blown parts out of it. Like, it's smaller than it should be now. Way smaller over the years. But, yeah, Matt Smith's console, I loved it. It had drum pedals at the bottom of it.
Right.
I thought that was so cool that he had little bass drum beaters down there at the bottom. Yeah, he had a really cool design. I love the spinning, well, I can't remember who had it, but the spinning little TARDIS. It was just a little blue TARDIS, and it would spin.
Oh, I want to say that was Capaldi too.
It might have been, yeah. He had one of my just an absolute gorgeous interior in that one.
Yeah.
And they revamped it, like, from one season. It was the same, but they just slightly changed, like, the colors and a little bit of some of the walls and whatever. But yeah, I'd really like to see the interiors change. That's huge for me.
Have they done that with Jodie, or is that going to be...
I think, yeah, she had a different one, I believe.
Well, no, I know she had a different one at the beginning. I don't know. I was asking if they changed it again.
If they transitioned, I don't remember, dude. There was no scrutiny for me on her. I watched them just to say I watched them, and that was it. I don't think I watched them twice. I may have.
I wasn't a huge fan of her interior. I didn't necessarily hate it. I was like, yeah, okay, something new.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it really didn't do it for me. So I would love to see a different interior again.
Yeah, definitely. And I just love it because I like to see what ideas people come up with. You know, where can you take your Doctor Who interior in your mind, and whoever it is, the set designer or whoever's making it.
I will say that I imagine the sets were obviously different. In the reboot, the main interior part that we see all the time of the TARDIS felt a lot smaller than, say, Hartnell or whatever.
Yeah.
Just felt smaller, maybe. I don't know.
Well, that I mentioned that Tom Baker episode with the Sontarans where he's on Gallifrey. They go into the depths of the TARDIS in that one too. I think that's probably as a child where I first remembered it and realized how big the TARDIS was, and that's when I first loved it. There's a few, right before Baker regenerates into Peter Davison, where they're going through, and the TARDIS is deteriorating, and they're going through it, and just some great stuff, man. Because I mean, you think about it's like a world. I mean, it's a world inside a world. We
left out a Doctor, by the way.
Well, you were right. We sure did. Between the 8th Doctor and Eccleston, we had the War Doctor. And I should have known better because I do have pictures already for the edit with him. John Hurt.
Yep.
Played the beautiful rendition of a Doctor. I loved the War Doctor. Who also took time out to make some Big Finish audios. So if you want another Doctor who you think got shortchanged, no, go check out his audios. Good stuff. Cool. Yeah. What can you say about John Hurt, man? I mean, just a legend. Alien, Harry Potter.
Too much to list.
The Elephant Man. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. He was the voice of the dragon in Merlin. I mean, you name it. He's just fantastic actor, and just sad that he's not with us anymore. But it was awesome that he got the chance to be a Doctor for a little bit, and that was in the 50th anniversary. That was 10 freaking years ago, man.
Yep,
crazy. And yeah, Tennant saved the day back then too. It was awesome, great day. So I can't wait to see this episode tomorrow. I can't wait to see. They did say that they were very unique episodes to each, it's not an arc or anything like that. They were very individual episodes. They said the first one's kind of more Doctor Who, and the other two are very different, especially the last one. So I'm looking forward to seeing, what ends up. And of course, Donna Noble's back, and Catherine Tate. Oh my God, what a fucking funny woman. The funniest fucking woman on the planet. Her Catherine Tate show back in the day just had me in stitches. I love rewatching that show. In fact, I heard they were redoing another one, but I never saw anything surface. Don't know anything if she ended up doing it or not, but Kathy Tate is just another chef's kiss. How many chef's kisses is that in an episode? Boy, I think we've hit the mother load on chef's kisses.
5, dude.
Man, this is... I'm letting y'all into my knowledge now. This is Doctor Who we're talking about. And Brian said some a few months back about you couldn't believe that I hadn't done any Doctor Who episodes yet. Well, this is all off the top of my head shit too. Like if I did do a little preparation. He can attest to that. But especially you'll see it when in the final edit, man, there'll be pictures and shit all up in this sumbitch. You might not even see our faces for most of it, I would imagine.
But this is not a Doctor Who episode. It is a Doctor Who episode, but it
is a Doctor Who episode. But there is one other thing I want to talk about, and that's I'm going to put it on the tail end of this because I was thinking about just making this a whole Doctor Who episode and screw the rest of this. But I do want to bring this up because we're gonna transition into Star Wars, the world of Star Wars, just for the tail end of this episode. This is a little tag, because we got some news to lay out there on everybody. First of all, congratulations to Dave Filoni, who is now the chief creative officer at Lucasfilm.
Yep.
So he's like third in line. But basically...
also responsible, supposedly, for the stories coming out. Yeah,
the stuff we get to see, the man they need to go through. Hopefully, it's exactly where he needs to be.
Hopefully.
And it says he'll be working alongside Kathleen Kennedy and Carrie Beck, which, hopefully that's okay as long as they're kind of on an equal footing, more or less. Hopefully it won't be too bad.
We'll see if he lasts in the position. That'll be the telling thing, right?
Well, the greatest thing would be is if they just made him Lore High Chancellor of all Lucasfilm, and everything would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was some great news to hear, and I guess we think they've sat on that news while the strike was going on. This has probably been a thing for a little bit now.
Right.
So they just had a bunch of announcements alongside the fact that Pedro Pascal will not be in Mandalorian season 4. How are we?
Which at this point, I mean, he's the voice, but what was it? 2 episodes?
Yeah.
Maybe 3 that we saw his face.
Yeah, and I know one episode that he did just the voice for was episode 5 of that first season.
Yeah.
Or was it the second season? I don't remember. But yeah, he just did the voice for it, and the stunt guy did all the regular video work, filling the suit work. So yeah, I mean, but does that mean that he's not even? Surely he's doing the voice, or are they just going to AI it somehow? I don't know.
Well, I mean, they're obviously not going to AI it because that was a big part of the strike, right?
Yeah.
It's just ended. So my imagination is they're going to get somebody that somebody thinks is good enough to fake it.
Sound like him? I don't know. See, so here's the thing. He's not gone. This is just a scheduling conflict. He's got to do The Last of Us Season 2 and Ridley Scott's Gladiator 2. Yes, I said Gladiator 2. This is 2023, not 1990 or two. I don't even know when was it 2000s or something like that. Was it the 90s or 2000? I can't remember.
I think it was like 99, 2000 something.
Yeah,
like that.
It was right at the transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, I mean, he's coming back like for season 5 or whatever, from what I understand. So maybe he's going to.
What if he ends up being Mr. Fantastic? I mean, that's a valid concern, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, dude. This is a long way out to be speculating on what can go down. Yeah. I'm assuming he's going to do voicing, and they'll just do what they do. Stick the stunt guy in who's learned his walk and moves better than he does, really, probably. Yeah. It's his job.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I just bring that up because I this is yet another thing totally off of this subject, but Marvel, right? They are looking at their franchise and they're just like, what are we going to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. What are you going to do, Marvel?
A big push on yet another freaking Fantastic Four franchise, whatever, would be the obvious thing for them to pick, right? That's what the higher ups are going to be like. This is established IP. This always gets attention. Blah blah blah. Now, if they're smart, they're going to do some of that Secret War type stuff with Reed being kind of like maybe the bad guy. I would love to see that.
Dude, they need to do Secret Wars. That could save Marvel.
Right.
Because
listen, and Doctor Doom also being a big part of that, right? Like all of that is just really good stuff to be working with. But
so Marvel Phase 1 took years to do, right? We started with Iron Man, and then they started getting different movies filtered in. We started realizing real quick this was a very big thing they were working on. Well, now that you know they didn't expect that of him, Secret Wars is just duh. Like, do it. You can do a whole plethora of movies for the next decade.
And think about all of the great shit that came out. Like Logan was one of the best of that time frame, in my opinion.
Deadpool.
That is significant part, right? Like that is the character that they had, kind of the old man Logan type guy.
Right. Yeah.
Deadpool, obviously. But yeah, like all the stuff that's worked well has kind of alluded to that, in my opinion. The different Spideys and stuff like that.
You hope, Yeah, you hope, because there's not too many. I mean, the others. So we got the Affinity Gauntlet. That's what we had. That was a big story. And the only other big one is the Secret Wars. So.
Well, I don't know. I was
Secret
kind of
Wars
pissed off at the Infinity stuff. I was an old school fanboy. I had mixed feelings of I can't even remember his name, but the guy that played the bad guy in Logan, right? What was his name? It's like right there on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, In the comics, he had like this weird hairdo and looked kind of aristocratical or
Yeah.
whatever. But he was funding the Reavers, which were the cybernetic guys, whatever.
Well, that's what I hate
but
about when they do that with, like, they'll take a movie, like a Marvel movie or whatever, and make the character very plain, like Punisher.
yeah,
They should have put him in that getup that he wears in the comic book from the get-go, but they never, like the first couple movies, they didn't even do that. But like other stuff like that, other characters where they've just, like the guy you're talking about, or like the character that ends up being Deadpool, that Ryan Reynolds plays, right?
Yeah.
Should have been different, in my opinion.
I agree. And like all of that, like, where the hell has Lady Deadpool been, right?
Yeah.
We haven't seen that. We haven't seen any white space action, right? I don't think we have.
I don't think so.
So yeah, just
I've
like
got
a lot of
that
stuff like
moratorium.
that.
I've got that moratorium going on superhero stuff, so I'm kind of out of the picture on what's new and happening.
I don't know. I think I may. I wasn't a huge fan of Deadpool 2. There were some great bits in there, and the fact that Brad Pitt showed up for exactly one frame is hilarious, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to watch 3, and I may not have high hopes for it, but I think there will be some decent parts. I'm not that big on Ryan Reynolds these days. It's kind of like, there's not a lot of range there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just like Ryan for some reason, man. He's a likable
I'm not
guy.
saying he's a bad guy. It's just like his.
But yeah, it's the same thing in every movie. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but if they find the right vehicle, which they've so far found in the movies they've given him, it works. But yeah, the smart ass college kid from Van Wilder kind of isn't going to work in every movie. Just saying.
Yeah. I'm with you.
But yeah, that's where I'm going to end it as far as the news with Star Wars. That's everything we had on that. And this has been a long episode with Doctor Who, and I really wanted to just focus more on Doctor Who. So what a beautiful thing. I'm going to wrap it up with this and say, what a beautiful thing that we've made 60 years with Doctor Who. I mean, just, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, I agree. And he has always been like he's what a hero should be, right? His philosophy, everything.
Absolutely.
It's always
the ultimate social justice warrior.
Exactly. Yeah. So
without a doubt.
I don't know. Glad he's gonna stick around for a little while. Got to see Tennant and maybe some Dr. Donna action.
Yeah, man. I'm down with the Dr. Donna for sure, man. For sure. Definitely one of my favorite seasons, hands down. Just seeing her with that Dobby looking creature in the trailer. What the hell? Just her classic Donna, man. I mean, just I just can't wait. All I got to do is wait, 12 hours, something like that? I don't know.
Something like that.
I don't know how they're releasing it, with, the way they do with streaming nowadays. Usually it's, I don't know if they have a specific time that they're going to like try and coincide with the BBC. I don't think they want to go out before it because that's going to start pirating immediately.
Well, I imagine that all of the streaming services have, their own schedule, right? And there's always maintenance done on like specific time of specific days when they release specific episodes of specific series.
Yeah, we just don't know.
So it's just probably going to fall in line with that, right?
Well, I imagine that by, let's see, 700. I imagine by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock our time, it should be safe to watch. They'll probably allow it by that time because it would have already aired in the UK.
Yep.
Yes, indeedy. Well,
all right.
Yeah. Wow. What a jam-packed episode. And you guys are going to see me try and fill it with a lot of shit in the edit. We'll see how this goes. This could be an interesting. Y'all should have seen me banging my fucking head against the wall last week. Oh my Christ! With that echo effect. Did you watch the episode? Needless to say, the way I did it's very simple. The way I wanted to do it, using the bus and everything like that, and automation and shit. Oh my God! And then Oh, dude, like I updated to a newer version of DaVinci and it was fucking the render up. It ended up, I went back to the previous version. It was fine after that. So I shot myself in the foot. But you know how I love updates because updates just mean more goodies, right? Not in this case. This is the rare occasions where you run into something that really fucks you. And that did. Yeah, I was up till 3:30 in the morning last Friday. Well, Saturday morning, getting everything set and done, and it was crazy. But I wanted that fucking Echo at the beginning, by God, and I was gonna get it. It just worked. I don't know.
Yeah, just worked.
Yeah, so that's it. We'll see how it turns out, the final product. So thank you guys so much for joining us. It was a blast talking about Doctor Who. I'm sure I'll be talking about it more in the future because we got episodes coming out to talk about. Maybe even do a review of. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. But until then, we'll see you next week. And before then, remember, always be excellent to each other. And we'll see you on the flip side. Peace out.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.